This is News 8 at 5.
For the third week in a row, countywide protests against racial injustice and police brutality. Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Steve Price.
And I'm Alicia Summers. Demonstrations were held across San Diego, including Coronado, downtown, and North Park. News 8's Heather Hope shows us some of today's protests.
Yes, it's been protest after protest, starting with students in Coronado denouncing racism, all the way to downtown San Diego in front of Waterfront Park, where many came together to march to defund police, all the way to a demonstration called Speak Up, Roll Out, each event fighting for equality.
Marching behind a banner bearing the names of black people recently killed, hundreds of protesters with signs held high marched to defund the police.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
We believe that the police budgets that are increasing in the light of all this violence.
Organizers had speaker after speaker at Waterfront Park in downtown San Diego make their message loud and clear.
Black power matters!
Activists from Filipino student movements to the Chicano Brown Berets.
There is no stopping of the power of the people!
There is a pandemic going on, but I also believe that this is equally as important.
Protesters calling for drastic change in law enforcement.
It's not necessarily getting rid of police, but slowly changing what police reform. We need police reform. Period.
Then in Coronado,
listen to their pain. Listen to how being a student of color in Coronado can end up causing trauma that lasts well into the years after graduation.
At Spreckles Park, alumni, parents, and students recounted racist incidents while part of the Coronado Unified School District.
After being asked if I was going to be a slave for Colonial Day, a shift started.
Former black students said they wish they had more support.
Constantly discouraged by my teachers at Coronado, never expected me to amount to much.
Speaking up now before marching to the district superintendent's office demanding change.
This culture of choosing to be silent about our beautiful color needs to end.
Roller skating past traffic in North Park. This group protested on wheels, some on skates, others on skateboards, and even more on bicycles.
These are a lot of roller skating allies. To not only exercise and be out in our community, but to exercise our voices and be out physically.
Skaters banding together with brightly colored skates and signs aligned to support local black-owned businesses.
Black voices have been silenced, and so this is pretty much basically a place where you can be as loud as you want to be. We're not going to be silenced.
And we just covered a few of several demonstrations planned today, as another set of protests are already scheduled for tomorrow. Steve and Alicia.
All right, Heather, thank you. Now, at a time when protesters are hitting the streets to show their frustration over racial inequality and a lack of support from the White House, President Trump supporters hit the water here in San Diego to say they appreciate his leadership and hope it continues for 4 more years. President Trump supporters hit San Diego Bay today to show their appreciation for the president.
I've been a Republican my whole life, love America. I love what Trump's doing for this place, and it's great to go out and show it to the world.
They know it hasn't exactly been smooth sailing for President Trump lately, as evidenced by a scene that played out right in the middle of one of our interviews.
Seeing 1,000 boats out here with 50 people or 20 people per boat, that's 100 boats?
That's like 100. Don't be like Trump.
And that's exactly what I mean by people that are, for some reason, so against Trump that they don't understand that we're going to lose our country to other enemies if they don't come together.
Many of the boats were decorated with American flags, items supporting the president's re-election. One boat even had a President Trump balloon. There was also a flyover with several pilots showing their support as well.
Be proud to be American. Live the dream. Believe in freedom. Don't let people tell you what to do.
The 2-hour boat parade was peaceful, with participants telling us that it was nice to see that there are others out there who are willing to publicly show their support for President Trump at a time when many people across the country are hoping to sink the president's re-election bid.
It's really nice to be out here in a peaceful situation supporting our president.
And coming up later in our show, we're going to hear from President Trump during his speech today at West Point's commencement.
Protesters also showed up at the local headquarters of One American News, angered by a story the cable network aired that led to a controversial President Trump tweet.
Standards. Define for me normal journalistic standards of checking sources.
The story accused 75-year-old Martin Gugino, the man injured by Buffalo police last week, of being an Antifa agent and trying to disrupt police communications. Protesters say the network should have proof of its claims before going to air, but One America CEO Robert Herring Sr. disagrees.
We showed what we had for news. We put it out there and asked if anybody could prove it was false. Not one person has come up and said that was false.
And you follow OANN stories all the way back, and it's a constancy of exactly that kind of nonsense.
Federal and state law enforcement officials have so far found no evidence of widespread Antifa activity.
In other news today, a heroic life-saving rescue by first responders at Sunset Cliffs this morning after a father allegedly drove himself and his 2 young daughters off the cliffs. San Diego police say the father sped down Hill Street after 4:30 in the morning, driving off the cliff, crashing onto the rocks below. Those quick-thinking first responders jumped into the water to save the kids' lives. The father and children were all taken to the hospital. We're told that they have non-life-threatening injuries. A fully loaded AR-15, illegal drugs, and a bunch of ammunition were taken in by the Sheriff's Department after a car chase in Imperial Beach today. Around 1 in the afternoon, a driver who was pulled over for a traffic violation took off. 4 suspects who ran into a duplex were later arrested. The sheriff's substation in Imperial Beach confiscated the assault rifle along with a handgun and what they say are burglary tools.
California Fish and Wildlife determined it was a mountain lion that attacked a 4-year-old boy yesterday in Poway. The boy was walking with his family at the Blue Sky Ecological Preserve around 2:40 in the afternoon when he was attacked. The boy has scratches on his back and his thigh, but is expected to make a full recovery. The park is back open today after closing following yesterday's attack. Today, county officials are reporting 184 new confirmed coronavirus cases for a total of 9,314. 6 new deaths were also reported for a countywide total of 319. All of the newly reported deaths were in patients with underlying health conditions. More than 5,700 people were tested yesterday. So far, over 215,000 people have been tested in San Diego. Today, local child care providers were given supplies in high demand right now to help San Diego kids during the coronavirus pandemic. The Chicano Federation and the YMCA distributed cleaning kits to child care providers in partnership with San Diego for Every Child.
Diapers, wipes, and also cleaning supplies. We're going to be distributing to over 600 kids throughout San Diego County, and as you know, each of those child care centers serves approximately 10 children.
The Chicano Federation says it has distribution centers set up to support child care providers in all parts of San Diego County. Well, it was a warm week, and it's coming to a much cooler end. What does the rest of the weekend have in store?
Let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Sean Stiles. He joins us now with a first look at your microclimate forecast. I kind of feel like we're splitting hairs, right? I mean, we talk about June gloom. This is no June gloom. It's still warm.
No, and Steve, you know, May can be pretty gray, and June, well, hence the term gloom. I've got to say, May and June have been spectacular here in San Diego. This is a look from top of Otay Mountain looking towards the west, and you can see that marine layer early this morning, but look at how fast it evaporates. It's maybe about 500 feet thick, so poof, once the sun comes up, it evaporates very quickly, and therefore our temperature 73 today. That's above the average. Looking at where we are this time of year, 70. So you can see that temperatures definitely starting to cool down just a little bit, but still above our average. 73 tomorrow, 71, 73 along the coastline. And for you folks in those inland microclimates, 80, 79, 80. As Steve said, splitting hairs. So it looks like we're in store for much more traditional weather, except no June gloom. We'll send it back to the two of you.
All right, Sean, thank you. We did make it through one of the warmest weeks of the year, and now cool zones are set to reopen to offer San Diegans more relief.
Plus, recreational activities continue to reopen across the county. We're going to visit one of the many reservoirs that's now ready for visitors again.